Got him. As soon as he hit the water. There you go, look at that. I wet my hand. I might just lift him up like that. Not a bad sized trout actually. Not a bad little trout. Beautiful colours. Look at the colours on that. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful colours. Brown trout of around 28, probably closer to 30 centimetres, 29 centimetres. Chances are I won't catch another fish in there, because if there is any more, that lure, that fish has probably spooked them. But it's always worth a second cast. Note the direction that I am heading, everybody, particularly new people to the sport of trout fishing. Trout face upstream. They're waiting for the food to wash down them rapids. So I walk upstream. That way I am walking up behind the fish. You might get the odd one that turns around to follow something or look at something or just generally moving around, and they might see you. But 99% of these trout are in the creek and they are facing upstream and they are waiting for a grasshopper or something to wash past. Just like that one was. So I've walked down to the back of this hole. I've cast upstream from behind him. He hasn't seen me. All he's seen is this fluorescent coloured lure coming through this off coloured water, and he said, yep, that'll do, I'll take it. So there's a tip for you, always cast upstream. And while I'm at it, another tip, after rain, like we've just had quite a bit of rain this week, there's been a big flush come through here, the banks of the creek are all muddy, so I can tell there's been a lot of water coming down, and it's now clearing back down, but it's still quite colourful, or quite off colour. These are dynamite times to chase trout. The reason being because there's been a fresh flush of water. It would have been cooler water falling out of the sky from high altitude. A fresh flush of cooler water has come through here, washing worms and food into the system, triggering a trout bite. And they're still on the bite now, but in another week or so, once everything's settled down and the warmer weather has returned, they'll go quiet again. But this time of year, straight after rain events, is a great time to get out and always walk upstream. Always walk upstream, unless you can't. There's a lot of holes. You can cast from the side if you have to, and you can cast from above back down into the hole if you have to, and I have to do that at the next hole up here in a minute. But where possible, you should always cast upstream. Got him. Look at that, it was a nice fish. I'd already made probably 8 or 9 casts into this hole and hadn't seen any fish. And then I made one right up the very top. He was sitting right up in this top corner. Look at that, another lovely brown trout. Once again he's fallen to the rooster tail. Gee whiz, he swallowed it too, the poor bugger. I reckon I can get that out if I swap hands. Oh, twist it a bit there. I've got it out. I'm going to put him straight back. Hopefully he'll be okay. Unfortunately, sometimes that happens. They get the hook down a bit deep. He had the trebles right down in his gills, and when a fish gets hooked in the gills, that's never a good thing, the poor bugger. Now this hole has a lot to offer trout. Let me tell you why. It's got all 3 of the main key ingredients. It's got cover. Look at all these trees. They're covering the water and providing shade and shelter. It's got depth. There's probably 5 to 6 foot of water in this hole. It's a very deep hole. And it's also got in-stream cover, but it's also got current flowing in. And that's where that fish was. As I stated earlier, when they're actively feeding, they will sit near the current and wait for the water to come down. A bit of water like this, it's deep, it's got current going around, it's got lots of bubbles, which is a great sign, and it's got lots of cover. Look for these sort of holes, and don't just fish 3 or 4 casts and then think you're finished. Always, and I mean always, place a cast right up in the top of the hole like I just did then, because quite often there'll be a trout just lurking near where the water is entering the hole. Even though it's a deep hole, the fish can still be sitting in the shallows, and then when they get spooked, or in this case caught, they can retreat down to the deep holes. And that's what that trout just did. There's a tip. Deep, cover, current. Excellent. This big bloke is walking down the current here. He grabbed my fingers here, clever bastard. Got him. Look at that. Oh look. Quite a large Murray crayfish for these little waterways. Good to see in this waterway. Look at this. That crayfish has eggs. You see that? Got a beautiful big female. I'm going to put her back in. That's a Murray crayfish. I'll put her back in and I'll let her be on her way. Straight into my foot. Don't you bite a hole in my gumboots, young lady. Isn't that just wonderful to see? Such a large crayfish getting around these small waterways. Don't see a lot of crayfish in this creek. It's really good to see that. That's a great indication of a healthy stream. That's an indication of a stream that has not dried up. I am dozens of kilometres away from the Murray River at the moment. This water does end up in the Murray River, and that's a Murray cray. I'm in the Murray River system, but I am miles upstream. Got him, yeah. Came out of the rapids once again. He was up the top end of the hole. Look at that. He's quite a nice fish. He's not really big, but you'll see he's still got a few par markings. Those black circles are called par markings, indicating that he's only a juvenile. He's probably in the high 20s, 26, 27, 28 maybe centimetres. He's got a bit of growing left in him. He could turn out to be a nice big trout. Some trout mature before they even get to that size, but that fish has still got a bit of growing left because he's only a young fish. Oh, that's in a nice one. Got him, yeah, oh yeah. Wow, that's a better fish. A much better fish. Look at this fish. Just about to say, gee, that's a nice spot, and then this big fella came out of the shadows. Yeah, go for it, you good thing. This is where I like monofilament line over braid. When trout jump like that, it's important to have the stretch in the line, and braid doesn't stretch. Look at that. You can't complain about that. There's a good 35 centimetres of very, very fat, wild brown trout. Look at that, isn't he pretty? Now I'll put him back in the drink. I'm going to wet my other hand. I seem to find it easy to unhook these fish with my left hand. Don't ask me why that is. So I hold him with my right, and I'll unhook him with my left. Look at that, he's off. Isn't that a lovely fish? Have a look at that. Wow. Caught on the rooster tail spinner. See ya, buddy. Woohoo! Now that is a highlight. What a wonderful catch. I'm very, very happy with that fish. Loving it. Caught on the fluorescent coloured rooster tail spinner.